Man, yesterday was a crazy day in the market. We got our recovery day there all the way back up to our gap fill on SPX, it seems to see here. All right, we got our gap fill. We need to get back to like 69.36. We did run this thing up yesterday to 69.09. This morning we started out 69.30, 6 points away from our gap fill. So crazy couple of 2 days, right? One, we had a major fall off. Then we caught our bounce back, and we just still followed the same rules. See this? Have this here, breakout, retest. Second one's always the strongest. So now we got to wait to see what's happening here because this is a bearish pin bar, which means that this thing can open up another candle and bring us right back down to now retest this 68.38 potentially, or at least this gap fill at 68.87. So we got to wait to see what happens here. Since it's SPX, we want to look at that in conjunction with the VIX, right? VIX rising, SPX falling. One thing we do not want to see is this thing break back out because it's going to pull us right back down into the below 6,900. So that's what we see on SPX. Of course, as that goes, SPY follows. SPY almost got up to their gap too. We need about 691, well, 690.86. But the good thing about yesterday, we caught this right before the pop because we saw an inverse head and shoulders forming on the 1 hour. And as soon as we got this thing, called it out, this thing took off running, right? Let's go see where that was. Boom, here we go. 12:25. We saw this SPY on the 1 hour. Some bounces off of our downtrend, bounces off of the horizontal support and the inverse head and shoulders. And we caught that at a I say 681 0-day SPY call, and boom, they went absolutely bonkers for us. Oclo. And so Oclo, we got our break, got our retest, got our break. It looks like it was a bull flag forming in pre-market, but it didn't pan out. What I'm noticing about Oclo, and I hate it for this stock, is that a lot of the moves happen overnight or pre-market, not during the day, which is crazy because like it's hard to catch it because everything happens overnight. Even if you get into a swing, everything's still happening overnight or pre-market. So by the time the market opens, as you can see, it's been dumping the last, I don't know, week or so every time the market opens. So I don't know about this stock anymore. Like I said, I've been waiting for a major breakout on this thing, but I've just been noticing all week and last week that this thing just, the moves happen overnight in pre-market, but during the day it starts to pull back. So I guess you could take puts on it, but for this thing to be pushing back up to the hundreds, it's hard to catch. So for now, staying away from Oclo. Let's go look at a video. A little recovery here on NVIDIA. So let's erase some of this because a little clear here. Still forming. Okay, so if we look here on NVIDIA, this could be forming. Let's go to a larger time frame. 4 hours, sorry. Yeah, I don't really see any patterns forming here yet on NVIDIA, so I'm gonna hold off on that. The only thing I could potentially see is coming back to kind of retest this 185 and then pushing back up. Or if you come back down to around 180, right, this could happen here, here. Then we see some of this happen here, boom, 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 right? We get some zig, zig, zigzag, and then we have an inverse head and shoulders that'll push us back up. So I want to see what happens if we pull back down to 180 first on the video before jumping in on it, because other than that, I don't really see a whole lot, right? We did see some of this play out, right? But we didn't really explode on it. So still holding off on that. Let's look at Amazon. All right, so Amazon's getting some recovery, right? If you look at prior videos, we had this 1, 2, and then we were waiting for this way up here, right? We said this is more likely going to pull back down, and then we see this happening. We got this happening. Came all the way down to 226. Now we're back in the 230s, so we can see if this is going to be an inside out candle, which means like you got to run, you got a candle that's usually the fake out, and then another one, the next one that comes out is green and pushes us back up. But if you're not in the play right now, what you want to wait for is for this wick right here, and you want this body to stay strong and start pulling back up. Once this body starts pulling back up, you can enter that. And even if it goes back up to like 235, you're still in good money. So that's how I will play that. Or if we lose this, here, you got to wait for the break, the retest of it, and then catch that second drop for any puts. So just gotta be patient on that. All right, let's go look at Bitcoin, and then of course, as a response to Bitcoin, we'll go look at Riot. So, all right, we got a drop here on Bitcoin. We did see that little double bottom push up, but it looks like we're pulling back down here a little bit. We're back below 90, so let's see if Riot's following suit. All right, we got some fall down on Riot, but if we extend this out, right? Riot's retesting, break and retest. So let's see what happens here. We pull back down here, right? We want to take some puts, but if this does become, this body stays above this thing and we flip over green, this can actually push up. But it's going to follow the pattern of Bitcoin. Like 90% of the time, it's going to follow whatever Bitcoin's doing. So if we lose this, with Bitcoin continue to fall, this thing can come back down to around 1650, which is still a good move because it's only a $17 stock or below, right? Because now it falls right back into this zone here. So we would see it if it comes right down to, touching this here. That would become bouncing back into the zone. So I would be patient on that too. Yeah, right now I just don't see a lot to jump at in the market. It's early too, right? We're still in the first 30 minutes, so I don't see a lot to jump at right now. Uh, yeah, so I'll just be patient before I make any moves in the market. Let me get out of this crap here. See if we can find anything else here. Oh, let's see what gold's doing. Right. All right, we had a little pullback on gold yesterday from this high. This GOD stock, not no, sorry, not gold itself, but a gold ETF had a little pullback here down to 437. Me, I still want to wait. I want this to fill. I want this gap to fill on gold first before I decide to do anything. And like I said, yeah, I may miss out on run ups, but whatever. I like to buy things on sale instead of chasing the hype. So yeah, that's kind of what I see right now. Let's go back to Oclo since we're trying to touch 92. And my internet wants to act up. There we go. Go back to the 1 hour. Yeah, still not doing what we need to do. This is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for this body to form back inside of this candle here and get my wick and then potentially push above this. If we get above this 93.89, I do think we'll break out. But again, a lot of the moves on this thing happens pre-market. So we'll see what happens here. This is the one I'm really keeping my eye. That's what I have. Catch y'all on the flip side. Peace. Oh, look, this played out. It's playing out. See? Bearish pin bar. We are pulling down here a little bit. So, I mean, that's a nice little drop. It's already a 27-point drop. So we'll see how far this goes and we come back to close this gap or not. Catch y'all later now. Keep it simple.